What's going on, everyone? It's me, David Jones, here to talk with Kyle Murray today about the NBA slate. Little seven gamer. I like seven gamers. That's kind of the sweet spot for me on FanDuel and on DraftKings, on SuperDraft. How you doing today, Kyle? What's up?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I agree with you on the 7 game. I like this little number. I hate like the 2 or 3 gamers. I just don't like those at all. Obviously, I'll still play them because I'm a nutcase. But like the 7 game, like 6 to 9 games is where I really like. So seven's right in that sweet spot.
Yep, I'm with you, man. Easier to pin them all down. So let's get into it. We've got Orlando at Toronto, and we'll go through like the injury stuff as soon as we hit on the games. But not really a ton here. Kyle Lowry's going to play. In this game also it has the lowest total. It's a 206 total on the game, and everything else is like 20 points higher. So immediately I'm a little concerned about the game, but that doesn't mean I don't like some of the spots for some of these guys. So Kyle, who are you looking at in this game?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of interesting price things to note about this game. I think Mo Bamba is a guy who, he's not necessarily the typical Mo Bamba price based on what we've seen over the course of the last couple of years, but I still think he might be a little bit too cheap for what we've seen him, consistently get up there in minutes now. Obviously, we know that he's always been a very good permanent producer. So I still think there's a pretty good a price, like a value on this price tag still, 6,500 on FanDuel, 6,600 on DraftKings. So Mo Bamba is actually one of my favorite plays of the day on both sites. I like him a bit more on DraftKings because he's not getting as popular. I have him at about 12% projected ownership, while he's 33 on FanDuel. But Cole Anthony's another guy who's been fantastic this year. He was under 5K on both sites earlier in the year. I think it was earlier this week he was under 5K on both sides, so he's obviously shot right up. And then another guy, Scotty Barnes, on the other side of this game on Toronto. This guy just will not leave the court. I absolutely love it. Siakam's out, so they're allowing this rookie to go out there and play as much as possible. Absolutely love that. 6K on FanDuel, 6,100 on DraftKings. Don't necessarily love the price on him, but he's a guy who, we saw him last game. Coming into the season, out of the draft, we thought that he would be a guy who would be like a triple-double threat. We didn't really see any of the assist production throughout the first couple of games. Last game, 7 assists, so that was pretty interesting to see. So I like him as well. Those are probably my 3 favorite plays from the game here. And then Fred VanVleet's always in play.
You talked about Mo Bamba, but didn't bring up Wendell Carter Jr. Those are two that I have trouble pinning down myself, like which one's going to go off. Are they both going to go off? They're both relatively cheap tonight. Is there any particular reason you're not on Wendell Carter, or you like Mo Bamba better?
Mo Bamba's just a better per-minute producer, 1.25 over the course of his career compared to Wendell Carter, who's at about 1.05. So Wendell Carter's still very good in terms of that per-minute production, but Mo Bamba's slightly better, and I have them projected for the same amount of minutes, right at 30 for both of them. So just have Mo Bamba projected better. If you wanted to fade Mo Bamba, I think Wendell Carter is a great pivot option at that similar price tag on FanDuel, 6,100, so $400 cheaper than him on FanDuel, 700 cheaper on DraftKings. So makes a ton of sense, but I do like Mo Bamba just strictly because of the per-minute production.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the guys that I have in right now is Wendell Carter and Bamba in my FTN optimizer as far as the Magic side goes. I'm looking at Cole, but Cole's always a guy that I just don't particularly like to roster him. I mean, when the price is down and it makes sense, it's fine. He's just really dependent on that shot, and it's just not someone I love. But at 6,500 on DraftKings, I mean, you can get there. There's other games that I'm targeting. There's a lot of other guards that I'd probably rather have than him, to be honest. I mean, he dropped that 66-point game against the Knicks. That was awesome. Charlotte, he got up to 40, but, other than that, he's kind of boom or bust to me, man. I don't know. But on the other side, you've got OG, who's been absolutely tearing it up the past 3 games. Usage has gone way up. Of course, no Pascal Siakam in this game. You've got Precious Achiuwa. His price has come up to me to be a fair price. I don't have much interest in Precious today. I liked him when he was 38. I don't like him when the price has gone up. I don't think he's going to get over 30 points today, so I'm not going to play him at that price. Gary Trent gets a lot of minutes, but again, kind of a boomer bust guy. If you want to get to VanVleet, that's good, but he's priced pretty high for the guards today, and I don't think he's going to be one of the best values at guard, so I don't have a lot of him, man. So OG on the Raptor side, then give me the bigs for Orlando, and I'm probably about done there.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I don't have major interest in this game. I will say there are a couple of solid value plays considering the game just doesn't have a massive total. The other guy that I didn't really mention was Terence Ross, another guy who I have him at a 23% usage rate tonight. He's projecting as the best point per dollar play second best point per dollar play for this team on both sides. So he makes sense. And then the last guy, if you're looking for a value piece on DraftKings 5K flat, Gary Trent, not bad. He gets that little added boost based on that 3-point production as well. So Terence Ross is the value guy that I have my eye on in this game.
Fast Eddie Fear rankings just came out. He's got Bamba at a 10. So y'all are on the same page there. A couple other guys we'll get to as well. Anything else from this game you want to talk about? Any Precious Love? Anything like that? People are going to play him, but I think the price is wrong.
Yeah, I'm off on Precious. I would rather I feel better about just other plays in general. And like when you talk about the price, I guess the price is fine on both sites. Like he does project as a decent value for me on FanDuel. But I don't really feel the need to get to him a ton on DraftKings. So I won't have a lot of them, but I get it. Like he's a good permanent producer. I have him for about 28 minutes. So I get it, but it's just not a guy I'll probably get to a whole lot.
I mean, there'll be cheaper guys pop up if Bam is ruled out. I don't think we have that news yet. It should be coming out hopefully shortly. If Joker's out, then we'll have some cheap pieces too. We can play at the center position. Let's talk about those guys. Do you think Bam plays?
Yeah, I think he plays.
Do you? I was hoping he wouldn't. Like, really hoping he wouldn't, because I like Jimmy Butler in that game, and then you could get some Dwayne Dedmon if he was out. He was downgraded throughout the day. Like he was probable or something after the game, then downgraded to questionable. I hope he's out. Let's see. Let's refresh, make sure we don't have that news yet. Maybe by the time we get to that game, we will have the news. But what do you think about Joker? Does he play?
That one, I'm really I'm not sure. They made it sound like the injury was somewhat significant, obviously with them not coming back from the last game. So I really don't know on that one.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one too. That's a late game. Is it one of the late games?
Yeah,
later games. Yeah, so you might have to do some pivoting around. Next game is going to be the Pacers going up against Brooklyn in Brooklyn. James Harden's price is coming down. His production hasn't been there. Still, James Harden, he'll snap into it one day. Not terribly worried about him. However, at the same time, don't have a lot of him tonight just because, I don't know, I guess I'm looking at the production and it hasn't been there. But James Harden some nights can go off and pop for 55, 65, and you got to have him. KD on the other side, or KD is fine too if you want to get there. I don't think you have to spend up there personally. Let's talk about Bruce Brown, another guy Eddie ranked as a 10. Usually someone that I don't like in the starting lineup because you have Kevin Durant and James Harden taking away shot attempts from him. Last year, it didn't work out very often when he was in the starting lineup, but last game when he got the start, he exceeded value. So are you in on Bruce Brown? Do you like any of these other nets? And also I can confirm that Nick Claxton's been ruled out.
Yeah, so that could potentially change a couple of things. I'll update the minutes here and stuff like that. But overall, I think Bruce Brown's fine. You know, I do kind of agree with your point that it's probably better in terms of his shot production if he came off the bench here. But he's a guy that when you're getting good fantasy production, it's coming from multiple different ways, defensive points, rebounds, assists, all that stuff. So you don't necessarily need the shots, but yeah, Durant and Harden are obviously going to soak up a ton of the usage here in this offense. So I think Brown's cheap enough to where he makes sense. He's actually one of the better point per dollar plays on DraftKings for me. He's also getting massive amounts of ownership, though. 42% projected ownership is where I have him right now.
Yeah, that's really high. He's 3,800 to be fair, but I'm just saying Bruce Brown can fail. Like I saw it a lot last year when he was in the starting lineup. It can happen, but he's super cheap. He's 3,800. I get it. He had 26.25 fantasy points on DK last slate, but he had 3 steals. So there's a pretty decent chunk of it, honestly. He got 5 boards, 1 assist, 12 points. How many shots did he take? You want to guess how many shots he attempted? I'm putting you on the spot, but just
like 8.
Did you cheat?
No, I didn't. I promise.
Dirty cheater. I'm just kidding. I trust you, Kyle. Yeah, he made 5 of 8 shots. 8 shots. He hasn't taken more than 10 shots all season, early season, but I don't know. I think you see around 8 to 10. Needs to make half of them, get a few more steals. Bruce Brown can bust, in my opinion. I have some, but I'm limiting it to like 20%. I don't want anywhere close to 50%. Hope it doesn't beat me. All right, so KD, Harden, Joe Harris. Anyone else coming off the bench? Griffin, Mills, anybody?
So Harden as bad as he's in play. I mean, he's under 10K on both sites in a matchup against Indy, who last year they played pretty fast, and last year they were pretty middle of the pack in terms of defensive efficiency. 22.5 implied game total here. So under 10K for James Harden, like it's tough because he's been bad this year, but I mean, it's still James Harden. And I know a lot of people want to say that he's a totally different player now that he can't get to the line and stuff. But we've seen him be able to score without getting to the line. Like, I don't think that's I think he'll figure it out. I think he's still going to be fine. It's not like that was the only reason he was good at basketball. And plus, it's even outside of scoring. This guy was been a significant triple-double threat throughout the course of his career. So there are plenty of ways that he can still impact the game from a fantasy perspective. So I think he's fine. Now he's under 10K. And, typically if you ever see James Harden under 10K, he would be very, very popular. Now he's under 30% on both sites. So I think he makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the better it kind of gets. The price is adjusting correctly, and he's going to pop off one of these days. Right, he had 48 the first game up against Milwaukee. That's good. Then been steadily in the mid 30s, which isn't bad. Of course, it doesn't pay off at James Harden price, but I mean, make a few more shots. You're in business. So, yeah, he's fine. You'd prefer him over KD?
Yeah, just because of the price. I love KD, and KD hasn't slowed down at all, and he's been the number one player here, the alpha in this offense. But it's $1,000 difference on FanDuel, or it's 1,100 actually. On DraftKings, a little bit closer, $700 difference, but still, like that discount really helps. And it's even though Kevin Durant probably has the higher ceiling right now, it's hard to say that we can't see Harden having a comparable ceiling.
On the other side, we've got Malcolm Brogdon, who's been ruled out. So you can tell me about the ownership where it's going for these guards: TJ McConnell, Brad Wanamaker. I assume TJ McConnell bumps into the starting lineup. But we also, unless I have missed it, don't have clarification on Karis LeVert if he's coming back tonight. Do you know if LeVert's going to play? Have you seen anything on that?
I don't think it's doing anything official yet. Let me double check.
You see it?
No, nothing official yet.
So if he's back, he'll get, I don't know how many minutes he's going to get, 20, 25 minutes or something. They're not just going to jam him in for 35, I don't think. So let's assume that LeVert is in. You've got Turner, Sabonis. They're definitely going to be starting. Lamb or Holiday. I guess it'd be potentially Holiday. But Duarte is going to stick in the starting lineup. They'll probably bring LeVert off the bench, wouldn't you think, to kind of ramp him back up? TJ Duarte, yeah. Holiday, Sabonis, Turner, something like that.
Yeah, I think they could do a few different things with LeVert. I wouldn't be surprised either way, to be honest. But I don't think he'll get massive minutes. Like I put him at 26 minutes, and that might be like a good outcome. I don't think he'll be like I don't think he'll play like 30 minutes. So for that reason, if they have that limit on him, they might just say, okay, just come off the bench for us. But yeah, I don't see him getting massive amounts of minutes.
I'm trying to figure out if TJ McConnell's definitely going to start. Like, would they start Duarte and LeVert? I guess you could.
Yeah. You could definitely. It all depends on how they want to use those guys. Like, yeah. The thing I'm curious to see is how they use Wanamaker, because last game, obviously a little bit of a blowout scenario here where the game ended in an 18-point difference. They were down by 18, but Wanamaker played the entire fourth quarter. McConnell came in halfway through the fourth quarter and closed out there. But Wanamaker played 19 and a half minutes. McConnell played a little over 20. So it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if Wanamaker picks up a ton of minutes here too. I think the starting lineup will be a big indicator here.
Yeah, and I don't want people to get me wrong. I like TJ McConnell tonight. Like, I'm going to be playing TJ McConnell. I wrote him up, but I'm just trying to think it out here. Like I'm not certain he's going to start. He should get more minutes, but if you have Brogdon go out and LeVert come in, it's not exactly a wash on minutes, but it's getting pretty close.
Bam Adebayo on track to play.
Damn. Damn it, Bam. He's in a great spot. There goes some cheap deadmen, and that bumps down my Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was scoring like 12 more points a game with Bam not playing, and I just absolutely loved it. Jimmy Butler's been crushing. I'll still play him some, but that hurts my Jimmy Butler, so ignore that part of the article somewhat. Sabonis. Let's talk about Sabonis. Let's talk about Turner. Turner's cheap tonight. I think there's better center options you can go to, but a good matchup, of course, going up against Brooklyn. You can go there if you want to. I don't really have any way to talk you off of that. Sabonis is a guy who also gets a bump when Malcolm Brogdon's out, and you wouldn't typically think that. Everyone's looking at the guards, as they should be looking at the guards too. But Sabonis was getting almost 7 more points when Brogdon would sit games, and he's a guy that can crack 50 tonight in this matchup. The one thing I worry about with it, that would be a great time for LeVert to come back going up against Brooklyn. But the one thing I worry about it is kind of a blowout. A little worried about a blowout, but at the same time, Sabonis can take a bigger load on it if LeVert plays good. If TJ McConnell plays good, I mean, it could stay close. I probably shouldn't try and predict blowouts, but where are you at on the other indie guys, especially the bigs?
Yeah, I like Sabonis. One thing that's important to know is over the course of the last 2 years without Brogdon, he actually gets a nice boost, about a 5% boost in assist rate as well. So he's actually like a low key pretty good facilitator. The price is fairly high, but I think that'll keep the ownership down a bit. But it's not like this is a price where we haven't seen him pay off before. Over the course of the last 2 years with Brogdon out, 1.35 fantasy point per minute, and a 23% usage rate. So the big boost is in the assist rate, and that obviously will help his per minute production. So Sabonis, I like a pretty good amount. Miles Turner, I think, is fine for the price. And then on FanDuel, you get to play him at power forward as well if you want to. So I think he's okay. The interesting part, like I mentioned, is going to be who starts. If McConnell starts, I think he's definitely in play. He's got a 1.14 fantasy point per minute over the course of the last 2 years with no Brogdon. He's always been a pretty good fantasy point per minute producer at about 1.05. So, but that's a pretty significant boost, almost from going from 1.05 to 1.14 is where he's at with Brogdon off the court. So I like the boost there. And then Duarte, he's been pretty good this year. He should play a significant amount of minutes, so I think he's okay. But it's hard to really be confident in what they're going to do with this team, because I wouldn't be surprised if Wanamaker starts. I wouldn't be surprised if LeVert plays and starts and McConnell comes off the bench. I think the most likely outcome is that McConnell starts alongside Duarte, Turner, Sabonis, and Holiday. But again, I think Holiday could go to the bench. They could start LeVert at the point guard. Like, they could do a couple different things. So just keep in mind of that.
If TJ McConnell and Brad Wanamaker are coming off the bench, are you going to have less interest in them? I mean, it's still a pretty good spot, and they're still going to get a little minute boost, but it's not as much clearly if LeVert plays.
So if they're both coming off the bench, I'll probably have less interest in both of them, just because then it kind of comes into a spot where they could both just eat into each other's minutes a ton as that backup point guard. So it would definitely be a downgrade to both of them. I do think one of them will start at the point guard. I'm just not sure which one. I think, like I said, McConnell's probably the more likely one to start, but Wanamaker getting all those minutes last game, I wouldn't be surprised.
All right, we just have to keep an eye on that, adjust accordingly. Favorite play on Indy for both of us is Sabonis, right?
Yeah.
I want to get a pretty sizable amount of Sabonis. I mean, but it's kind of tough because you have these other forwards that are in good spots tonight. I mean, you've got Durant, we talked about, not as high on him. Paul George, we'll talk about. People are high on him. Anthony Davis is only $100 more than Sabonis. Do you have a preference, Davis or Sabonis? Because to me, it's almost too close to call. They're both. Well, it depends if LeBron's in or not. But
yeah. If LeBron is, I'm assuming LeBron plays, or I think he's closer to playing than not. So if that were the case, I think I would like Sabonis a bit more. But again, that could change.
Yeah, I think I like Sabonis kind of either way, but we have to wait and get the LeBron news. I still like Davis a ton, right? Going up against the Cavs, that's a good match. Then on the other side, we talked about a Brooklyn. Kyle likes Harden because of the ownership price coming down. Bruce Brown, Eddie's got is 10-10. That's good. That means play some Bruce Brown. I'm a little worried about it personally, just from not saying these other guys haven't watched him play, but just when he's in the starting unit, I get a little worried. 3,800 makes a lot of sense. Hope he gets a couple steals with his 8 shots and hope he makes half of them. Next game. Who do we got? Charlotte at Miami. Let's talk about the Charlotte side. Or you know what? Let's start with the Miami side since we just got that Bam news. I broke down a little bit how much I like Jimmy Butler, and I'm still going to play some Jimmy Butler. It's still a very good spot. It's a good thing to be a forward going up against a small forward going up against Charlotte. Let me pull up my notes here because they were terrible against them, have been all season. So Butler, I'm going to throw out the part about how much he benefits when Bam is out, but he's got what, over 52 points the last 2 games up against the Nets and the Magic. Charlotte allows the second most fantasy points to the small forward this season. I had Jimmy Butler getting 50 when Bam was out, but I think he can still get, close to it tonight. Do you have Jimmy Butler love like I do?
I do, but I actually think I like Bam a little bit more because of the price. I like Bam a pretty good amount, but I mean I like Butler too. Like uh, it's kind of hard. Like I like them both a lot. On DraftKings, I think Jimmy Butler. I probably like Butler a bit more on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, I like Bam a bit more. He's only 8K on FanDuel, he's 7.8 on DraftKings, but on DraftKings, Butler's only 8,700. So yeah, I like them both a lot. I mean, I probably want to pick one. I don't know if I want to play them both in lineups, but yeah, I do like them both. And then on FanDuel, you would think I was pricing Kyle Lowry over there with how low this price is, 5,900. I am a notorious
Jeez.
Kyle Lowry hater, and so it would make sense. Like maybe I'm doing the pricing over there, but I am not. But 5,900, that is very, very cheap for Kyle Lowry. I mean, it's very cheap for anybody that's going to go out there and play 32 minutes and have a decent usage rate and be around a 1 point per minute producer against Charlotte. So it's kind of hard to ignore Kyle Lowry at 5,900.
Yeah, I didn't put him in the player pool. I probably should. That's way too cheap. I wouldn't want him with like Bam and Butler, maybe 2 of the 3. Because
Yeah.
I do like the game environment for him here. He was questionable, but he's going to play. Like I don't know how bad that injury is, but if he's out there playing, he's going to play. Kyle Lowry's always been a pretty tough guy. No way in hell I'm playing Tucker. Don't think I'm playing Duncan Robinson. Tyler Hero. He heat up a little bit. What he gets like 30 minutes off the bench some games. Any interest in Hero?
Uh, no. My main interest is just in the big 3 here. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
Duncan's fine on DraftKings just because you get that 3-point bonus, and he's only 4,500. He's probably going to play 30 minutes. He definitely has the ability to go out there and hit 7 or 8 threes. So he's kind of always lingering in play, but he's never going to be like an elite ceiling play. But he's okay on DraftKings. But other than that, it's just the main 3 for me.
Miami hasn't played Charlotte yet this season, have they?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I'm looking at what Bam's been doing lately. Underwhelming against Brooklyn. 106 to 93. He played 30 minutes, only got 34 points. Against Orlando, 29 minutes. Game got out of hand. It was kind of a blowout. So down to 29 minutes. Got 39 against the Pacers. Was that an overtime? If that was an overtime game, it was very low scoring. But yeah, Bam, the price looks good. So go with Bam if you want. I like Jimmy Butler more than Bam. Kyle likes Bam more than Jimmy Butler. On the other side, Charlotte side, talk us through this game. Who do you like over here?
Yeah. So first of all, Miles Bridges has been absolutely insane all year long, but I can't play him at 8K on FanDuel and 7.3 on DraftKings. I mean, I guess if you wanted to on DraftKings, you could. I mean, he's averaging over 20 points a game, and he's having a career start to a career year so far this season. He's been insane. I like Hayward a little bit. I think he's a little bit too cheap, under 7K on both sites. LaMelo's always in play. He is under 8K on FanDuel, so I think that's fine. And the thing about LaMelo is we really haven't seen him have like a massive ceiling game in terms of his minutes. And I think those are going to happen at times. So like in those games where he does go out there and get 36 minutes, I think he will smash. I don't know if this is a great matchup. Miami is good defensively and they play slow. So other than that, like I'm just not going to have a ton of Charlotte. I think Hayward might be the guy I have the most, just because he is cheap on FanDuel at 6.6 and he's under 7K on DraftKings. But other than that, him and LaMelo, just because LaMelo is always in play. After that, won't have anybody else.
I'm not too interested on that side either. I played Kelly Oubre last game when he got the start, and he really stunk it up. That was terrible.
Yeah,
but Terry Rozier's back, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he's going to be coming off the bench. Kyle Lowry, he's right-handed, isn't he?
Yep.
Just double checking because I'm looking into his injury a little bit more. It just came out that he's going to go out and warm up with intent to play. But the thing that's bothering him is his shooting elbow. You still like him with a bad shooting elbow?
I mean, no, I never like Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
But But also, like a big reason why you're rostering him is not because of the scoring, and if he's playing, I don't think he's like incapable of doing things. And I believe he was probable actually. So let me double check.
That just came out. What I read about him warming up with intent to play. But yeah, he was probable
Yeah,
earlier in the
so
day.
I don't really, I don't really think it's a big deal. So I think he's fine.
I don't know. I might take the guys with good elbows tonight. I don't know. Thinking about it. So
Or just the good basketball players, which Kyle Lowry does not qualify as.
hey, man, take it easy. Kyle Lowry's pretty good. Maybe that bumps up my Jimmy Butler. I like Jimmy Butler tonight. I'm still going to play him. You're right about Bridges on the Charlotte side. He's been fantastic. Really, no reason he can't keep it going. I mean, I didn't think any of his matchups were particularly brilliant before, and he's just been playing good. So good for him. I'm worried about Ball's minutes. I'm worried about Ball sometimes not closing the game. A little bit worried about Rozier, what he's going to do to Ball. That shouldn't be a huge deal. Less worried about that. Don't have a ton of interest in the Charlotte side. Can't lie. Don't have many of them. Anything else you want to touch on this game before we keep moving?
Nope.
We are flying. That's good. That's good. We'll take some Discord questions. Hop over to the FTN Discord. We will answer your questions after we break down some of these games. Not looking at it right now. Up next, my favorite game of the slate: Sacramento Kings, New Orleans Pelicans. Tell us who you like on the New Orleans side. Let's start in New Orleans, home team.
Yeah, a lot to like. I really like this matchup. Sacramento been pretty bad defensively over the course of the last year, and then obviously the first 4 or 5 games this season, and they play pretty fast too. So I do like the matchup here. Valanciunas has been spectacular. Just a couple days ago, he was 6,500 on FanDuel. Now he's up to 8,200, and I still like the price. I still think he's at a good price. I mean, he's been an elite per-minute producer. He's now getting 30-plus minutes. So I think there's a lot to like here with Joe Val. He's my favorite center of the night. I like him a lot. I like Brandon Ingram as well. If you're not, I probably don't play Valanciunas and Ingram together just because they're so expensive, but I don't mind playing one of those two guys. And then there's 2 value guys, or not value guys, but secondary guys, Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Devontae Graham. Again, probably not playing both of these guys in the same lineup, but one or the other I think is a pretty smart move. NAW is 6K flat on FanDuel, 6.7 on DraftKings. Graham 6K flat on DraftKings, so I probably prefer Graham on DraftKings while I prefer Alexander Walker on FanDuel. But Alexander Walker's been very good this year as well. He's had a couple of bad games here and there, but 32 minutes is where I have him projected for. He's been around that number for the majority of the season. Typically about a point per minute producer and a strong scorer. So I like Nickeil Alexander Walker tonight.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of get off any of these New Orleans guys aside from like Herbert. But J Val, he's my favorite center of the night too. I mean, you nailed why you should play him going up against Sacramento. I have some notes on J Val here. Let me pull them up. So it should be a high-paced game. Alex from FTN says it's going to be the highest-paced game of the night, which I don't disagree with. J Val been getting big minutes, getting 36 or more minutes the past 3 games, which is something you never see with J Val. Do they have a game tomorrow?
I'm not sure.
Let's look at that. Let's pull that up, see if they have a game tomorrow. But getting 36 minutes past 3 games, that's awesome for him. Exceeded value in each time. And I would say this is probably a better matchup. Well, he played the Timberwolves. That's a good matchup too. But as far as like season stats goes, the second best matchup so far of the season, going up against Sacramento. They're giving up the most rebounds to true centers so far this season, and they are allowing them to score 25 plus real points on average a game. J-Val, big double-double tonight. Love him, love the price. I want J-Val in a ton of my teams. Did you pull up the schedule, or you need me to do that?
Nope, they play tomorrow. They play at home, but they play the Knicks tomorrow. Yep.
Okay, so are we gonna bump back J-Val minutes a little bit? What are we having at now?
I'm at 33.
Sounds about right to me. 32, 33. Don't love the back-to-back. Let's see which one of these is on TV. How about that? On ESPN, we have the Hornets and the Heat. And then we have Mavericks and Nuggets. So it's not nationally televised, which is kind of a bummer. But he should still get like 32 minutes, I'd say.
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't bite us. That's a little bit scary. That's something we should have looked into before, but still good price, great matchup. If it stays close, high-paced game, he should get there. Let's talk about the Sacramento Kings. Favorite play of the night, It's on the Sacramento Kings, Kyle. Did you see me touting him earlier today?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Oh, buddy. I don't think people are playing him. I don't think they're playing him. I hope they're not playing him. De'Aaron Fox, my favorite play of the slate. We looked earlier. He was coming in, what, about 8%? Has that moved? Do you know?
8% on DraftKings, 18 on FanDuel, but yeah, 8% on DraftKings.
Too low. That's too low, both sides. So De'Aaron Fox, New Orleans guy, playing in New Orleans tonight. That's one thing. That's what kind of got me looking into him. He's played the New Orleans Pelicans 7 times in his career. There's only been one game in those 7 games that he's played him that he has scored under 57 fantasy points. It's only happened one time. So 6 out of the last 7 times he's played New Orleans, he's scored over 57 fantasy points. It's insane. The last time he played him last season, he scored 43 real fantasy points. The time before that, like a month prior to that, not fantasy points, I'm sorry, he scored 43 real points. I don't know if I said that right. 38 the time before that, real points. Time before that, all this year, because they played him towards the end of the season last year, he scored 43, which was his career high. So he hit his career high in like January or February. Then he played him again and scored 38. And then the next time he played him, he scored 43 again, trying to top that career high against his hometown team. De'Aaron Fox is going to go off tonight. I bet over 24.5 points. Seems like a lot, but he does it every game except one the last 7 times he's played him. So De'Aaron Fox, low ownership, high-paced game against New Orleans. Favorite play of the slate. Lock him in. I might go 100% on him,
Kyle. You said his prop is at 24.5?
His point prop was 24.5. Yeah,
that's a big number.
That's a big number.
That's good for DFS purposes. I don't know if I would
plus 100. I think.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if you're looking to roster him in DFS, like that's a good sign there. I don't know if a lot of people do that or enough people do that, but if you're curious on a player, go look at their Vegas props. That'll be a good indication on if Vegas likes those players or not. And I agree with Alex. I think this game is going to be a very fast-paced game as well. So yeah, I think pairing Fox with Valanciunas is a nice little interesting stack there.
Javi just put some. We'll get to the rest of that team in a second. I'm looking at what Javi just put in the Discord. It's a lot of if Jokic is out, if LeBron is in type stuff. So we'll wait for the news there. But good update to the subs in the Discord. Let's talk about the other pieces here, which we probably should have more interest in. You've got Halliburton or Hield, both playing guard. Hield, former New Orleans Pelican, if that means anything to you, still Buddy Hield, but he's been playing all right. Gave him a lot of shit last year. He's been better. Harrison Barnes, Mo Harkless, no, or Holmes. Any of the remaining Kings are you interested in, or it's just going to be the De'Aaron Fox show, and he's going to do all the scoring? Which, by the way, last time he played him, he scored more points in the fourth quarter than the entire New Orleans Pelicans team, by the way.
So I don't really like a lot of these spots here. I mean, I think Rashawn Holmes is a very good play on DraftKings at 5,800, but I don't really like him at 7,500 on FanDuel. That's a really big price difference. I think a lot of it comes down to if you're not playing Fox. I mean, I think this team has to put up points somewhere. So if I don't have Fox in the lineup, I think Halliburton's interesting. I think Davion Mitchell as a value play is fine. Like I haven't projected for 24 minutes, but we've seen him actually close some games out or be there, not necessarily at the final buzzer, but towards the end of the game, which is really important for getting those extra few minutes there. So I think he's also interesting. So he's also in play as a value option. Prefer those guys if I don't have Fox in my lineup, but as of right now, it's mainly Fox with a little bit of interest in Holmes on DraftKings, and then a little bit of interest in Halliburton or Mitchell if I don't have Fox.
Harry Barnes, no Harry Barnes. I never play Barnes.
I can't do it at the price. I mean, he's been really good this year, and he's playing a ton of minutes, but I mean, he's the same price as De'Aaron Fox on FanDuel pretty much, so I can't do it.
Yeah, geez, man. He has been playing well, and he's 74 though for Harrison Barnes. But if it's a shootout type game, like what's he got to get? 21-42? Nah, I don't like it either. He put 58 on Portland first game of the season. Damn, same place as Paul George pretty much tonight. We'll talk about that. De'Aaron Fox, favorite play of the slate. Buddy Hield would probably be my second favorite King after that. And then I think you want at least one or two Pelicans on the other side of it. Anything else from this game you want to touch on?
Nope. All good.
Next up is the Dallas-Denver game. Should we skip that and hopefully some news trickles in on Joker?
Yeah, we can do that.
So let's go to the Clippers-Portland game. Good. I mean, Portland's defense is just terrible, right? They're terrible. Everyone's putting up huge numbers on them. We just saw Harrison Barnes drop 60 on them. Paul George is going to be running the offense here for the Clippers. Got to like Paul George, but you know one thing Paul George does is let you down. He might let you down. Is Paul George going to let us down tonight?
I don't think so. I like Paul George tonight. I think the matchup is pretty good. I think the usage has been pretty solid for him, about a 30% usage rate on the year, and the ownership's not really getting to him. I think people are maybe having certain thoughts in their mind that maybe he's not quite up to par as some of these other top end studs because of the past 2 games where he's been somewhat disappointing, which, that's always a possibility for a top end guy, but the matchup's good. I think the ownership's low. So I like it. I mean, the only issue I have with Paul George is I think that there are lots of mid-range plays tonight that I think have the same kind of ceiling that he has. And that's not a knock on him. That's like a more of a praise on some of these mid-range guys. But for example, like Jimmy Butler, I like. Jonas Valanciunas mid-range play, I like. De'Aaron Fox, I like. Bam Adebayo, I like. CJ McCollum, I like, who's in this game. Like plenty of mid-range plays that I think are projecting similarly or have similar upside or ceilings. I think the main thing that's very interesting about Paul George is I have him at 6% projected ownership on FanDuel right now and 5% on DraftKings. So super low owned. So I think that's very, very interesting.
Yeah, I don't love his price, but I agree he's in a phenomenal spot. I've got scars from Paul George, though. He lets you down, man. Good play, though. I like price per dollar. I'd probably go Jimmy Butler, I think. What's the difference there?
I mean, he's like almost 1,500. I think he's 1,500, 1,300 cheaper is Butler on DraftKings than Paul George.
I'd probably go Butler there. What about either the guards, Bledsoe, Reggie? They're boomer bust guys. Good spot going up against Portland, though. Could happen. Any interest there? Let me answer this question while you're doing
that. Some interest in Reggie Jackson. Not a whole lot of interest in Bledsoe. I mean, I think I have Reggie Jackson for 34 minutes, so he projects pretty well for me. I think he's fine. He actually projects as a fairly popular play on FanDuel, and I think that there's a really good pivot on this slate that we'll talk about in a later game that I really, really like as a contrarian option. But other than that, there's not a whole lot for me in terms of the Clippers. It's mainly just Paul George and Reggie Jackson.
Okay, everyone's talking about that Kings game. Asking about do you do points bet? Do you know what points bet is?
I do know what it is. I don't use it a whole lot though.
I don't either. Someone's asking about assists and points for De'Aaron Fox. I said I don't know what this means really, but you can probably hammer it.
Oh, he's saying the points times assist prop is 176.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's really weird. I've never even seen that. That's very weird.
I don't
points times assist.
All right. So what about Nicholas Batum? Still super cheap. It's still Nicholas Batum going up against his old team in Portland. Remember those days? He used to be awesome. I don't mind him. 22 points, 24 points.
Yeah, I don't mind him on DraftKings, 4K flat. He's okay, but he's also projecting to be fairly popular on DraftKings, about 20%.
He was popular last time, and it really worked out for anyone that played him because I was a little bit lower on him because it's Nicholas Batum. But I don't know, man. He played well. He played well last time. I like him tonight. 4,000. He'd probably be my second. Do I say second favorite guy? Yeah, second favorite guy on the Clippers. Probably best value though, I would say. On the Portland side, you've got Dame time. You've got CJ. You've got Nurk. I'm not going to play Nurk tonight, I don't think. I should mention too on the Clippers side that Fast Eddie Fear like Zubac tonight. Liked him a lot. He was a 10, I believe. I don't want to speak for him, but I'm pretty sure I saw that in the chat. So he liked Zubac. Let's go back to Zubac. I don't love Zubac. Let's check the price. Let's make sure. Let's do our due diligence here. 5,000 going up against Nurk. I'm not on it. You checking something?
No, I was just updating the projections here. I don't really love Zubac either. I just think center is so good tonight Like especially if Jokic plays. I think there are a few good plays at center, especially now with multiple position eligibility on every site. Like you can play anybody at center now, it seems. So, it's just like if you miss at center, you're so far behind. And for example, I have Zubac at 5.3 point per dollar, but I have Valanciunas at 5.4. So while Zubac is a fine point per dollar play, I have Valanciunas as the better value play at 8,200. So I'm just going to have a lot of Valanciunas.
Let's see. I think Weisenberg's saying I think this is about Zubac. He was on pace to play in the mid-30s last game against Portland before the blowout. I mean, okay. It looks like he likes Paul George a lot too. Weisenberg's been killing it. I don't know. I'm not on it, but other guys are, and Weisenberg and Fast Eddie Fear have been killing it. So, yeah, I'm not on it. Other side, Dame CJ Little, I guess, is going to start again. Robert Covington. He's cheap tonight. People like to play Robert Covington when he's cheap and then sweat the rest of the night because that guy's got to make 3-pointers. Any of these guys you like?
I really like the guards here, Bullard and McCollum. I think if you look on FanDuel, Lillard's super cheap, which I think if you want to play Lillard, I think that's fine, even though he's been off to a pretty rough start as well. But then you also have McCollum, who's been very good this year, and I have him at 2% projected ownership on FanDuel, and he's not cheap. He's still 8,700, but I mean that's a okay price tag. Like, he can definitely hit value on that price tag. And the interesting part is he's only 2% projected ownership. Don't really like anybody else. Like Nurk, I think is okay. Like he's a good permanent producer, but again, I just prefer Valanciunas. One thing about Zubac, if Zubac does play 30 minutes, I think he's definitely going to be a very, very good play. So if Zach is onto something with him getting up near or even over 30 minutes, then yeah, I think he'll be in for a big game here. No doubt about that. So that is something to note. Like if you wanted to put him in a couple lineups just to say, if this were to happen, because if he does get 30 minutes, he's going to smash. But I have him for 24. So that's always an issue with Zubac.
Why are people thinking he's going to get 30 minutes? I think that's what I'm missing here. Let's see. He's been in 2 blowouts last 2 games, 24, 25 minutes, 2 close games before that. I'll have to go look at foul trouble. Didn't crack 20, but those were the first 2 games of the season. I get it. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I could be wrong.
So they played Portland the other day. I think it was a weekend game. I don't really know actually. And Zubac played 25 minutes in the first 3 quarters, and then it was like a 20-point game. So he didn't really get a chance to finish the game. Didn't play any in the fourth quarter, and it was like guys like Amir Coffey, Scrub, Boston, Trey Man, or Terrence Mann, sorry, and then Winslow that closed the game out. So like at that rate, 25 minutes in the middle of the third quarter, like that is where I had him projected. So like if by that, like you can say that my minutes projection is just wrong, and that makes a lot of sense. Which does make sense because they have such a big team, right? Like they're pretty much always going to have Nurk or Zeller on the floor, so they probably are going to need Zubac for as many minutes as possible, really. So that makes sense. But yeah, and that's a really good point by Zach. Like 25 minutes in the middle of the third, didn't play any in the fourth. This game stays close. He definitely plays more.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that. Against Portland and Cleveland, if it stays close. I mean, against Portland last time, he was shooting 83%. That's not going to happen. I mean, now I'm like trying to make an argument against it, but that's not going to happen again. But if he plays longer, he'll get more points. So
I think I'm gonna bump up his minutes projection. Let me see something.
See what you get there.
Yeah.
You think he gets 40 I don't think he gets 40 fantasy points, which would be awesome. I mean, you don't need that from him at 5,000, but
I mean, if he plays 30 minutes.
Yeah. All right, see what you get. Maybe they're talking me into it a little bit more. Let's see if they have any more comments about him. Any interest in LeBron on 2 days rest? Does that mean LeBron is in? Let's see. I mean, that would be a low-owned play. I would think LeBron James tonight. Refreshing the Twitter app. No LeBron news. Don't do that to me on the show. Make me think LeBron's going to play. All right, we just went up on a Zubac tear, so let's try and get back to Portland. We got 2 more games after this. Uh, Anything else you want to talk about there? I don't have a ton of interest. CJ's okay. I'm probably not going to play Dame. There's other point guards I like better than Dame tonight. Um, LA guy going against the Clippers. I don't know. Whatever. It was a better spot last time. It looks like he needs to get a little bit warmer. He had a good game, but he's been missing some threes. I don't think I'm going to play Robert Covington, especially if he's chalky. I don't like power forwards that shoot 3-pointers. I don't like counting on those guys.
Yeah, I mean, he is super cheap, but like you mentioned, I will say on FanDuel, I actually think he's a bit better because he does rack up a lot of blocks and steals. Obviously, those are a little bit hard to project at times, but just over the course of his career, he has been pretty good at racking up defensive stats. So I think he's okay on FanDuel as a value play, but as chalk, you're right. I think it is good chalk to potentially get away from.
See, someone's asking me with Bam in, is Jimmy Butler off of my core? That's a good question. I don't think so. I mean, he's still in a good spot. He's played every game with Bam so far this season. It's looked outstanding. You've got Kyle Lowry with a bum elbow. No, I still like Jimmy Butler, guys. Jimmy Butler's still in a good spot here. I liked him better when Bam was out. That is true, but I still like Jimmy Butler, so I'm definitely going to play Jimmy Butler. Let's go. I guess we got to go back and talk about Dallas and Denver now. No news on the Joker yet. We do know that Kristaps Porzingis is A, falling apart, and B, not going to play tonight. Maxi Kleba came and played a very good game as far as stuffing the stat sheet goes last night, but also not a guy that you can count on because I've seen him burn people a lot before. He was still coming off the bench. And guess who's back tonight? That didn't play the last game is Boban. Boban's back. So let's talk about these bigs. You're going to have Bullock probably starting, Kleber coming off the bench, Powell starting, playing his 25 minutes and scoring 18 points, and then maybe a little Boban time. I don't know. You like any of these guys with no Kristaps?
So a couple of things there. I had a couple of subs ask me if I think Boban will impact Kleba or like if that will be a reason to like potentially fade him. I don't even have Boban getting any minutes anyway. I mean, he's appeared in one game, and in that game he played 9 minutes. Like it's not like he's going to go out there and take a ton of minutes. I mean, I will say Kleba only got, I think it was 29 minutes last night. So even in a spot where it seemed like he kind of hit his minute ceiling, now obviously his fantasy point ceiling, like he had 7 blocks and steals. So very high end outcome there. But at 20%, I think there's a couple things. One, he's probably not going to have the game he had last night. So that with that being the case, you could potentially make a case for fading. But also, I have him projected for 28 minutes, and he's 3,300 on DraftKings. So with that being the case, I also think he makes sense.
He's so bad. Oh, he's so bad. I hate playing him, and especially like he's not going to do what he did last night, right? I think we can agree to that. He's not dropping 45. I mean, this guy's going to get like maybe mid-20s. Like I think if we're lucky, but that's still good at 3,300. Yeah, it's still good at 3,300. Yeah, he's a good play. Damn it. Good play. Any Reggie Bullock, any Dwight Powell? I'm not interested in Bullock at all. And Dwight Powell, I guess you can make a case for, but he's also, I mean, he hadn't been doing much.
Yeah, so for me, it's like one of these guys that I definitely don't want to play all 3 of them, or probably not even 2 of them, but one of them I don't mind. Like it's just Powell's going to be the least popular, and he's also the best point per dollar, the best point per minute. Sorry, not best point per dollar, best point per minute producer. So maybe he's like the best. Karis LeVert just got ruled out. So.
Oh, that's good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Like that.
But yeah, anyway, Dwight Powell is probably the best tournament play amongst them because he's the best point per minute producer and he's the lowest owned. But Kleba and Bullock, I mean, probably playing one of them makes sense as a value option.
All right, LeVert ruled out. Good. So we'll finish this game and then go back and talk about that. Luka, obviously a great ceiling for Luka. If you can fit Luka, you can play Luka. No Porzingis helps Luka. Didn't help him a lot last night, but you know it's basketball. Shit happens. I don't have him as like my top guy. If you can fit Luka, play Luka. I don't know what to tell you. It's Luka. You like him? Is he a priority for you today?
So it depends. I don't like to say it depends, but it really does depend on my lineup construction. Like I mentioned earlier, I think there's a lot of really good in between plays, like the guys from like 7K to 9K that I think you can build a lineup of like 3 or 4 of those guys.
Yep.
But I think if I was spending up, and let's say Jokic is ruled out, I do
Yeah.
think Luka would be my priority. But right now, like it's not like a clear advantage. And Jimmy Butler, like I keep mentioning Jimmy Butler, but he's projecting I have him for 47 FanDuel points. I
Yeah.
have Luka for 50. So like he's very close. There's plenty of guys in this mid range where I just think I'm going to be basing a lot of my lineups out of. But if I had to spend money over 10K on somebody on FanDuel, it would be Luka. On DraftKings, it probably would be Paul George. Actually, he's 10K flat. I'd really like him,
Mhm.
but just as a tournament play. But up at the top where Luka's 11K, I don't really see him as a priority.
It's a nationally televised game for Luka.
Ooh.
Just thought about that a little bit more. You think he cracked 60 on DK? I know you've gone 50 on FanDuel.
Yeah. I think he does.
Yeah, I think he might too. It's in his range of outcomes for sure.
Okay.
It would be his highest scoring game so far this season, but he had Porzingis mostly the other games. He only played 34 minutes last night. It was only a 5-point game. That was last night, right? Was that last night? 2 nights ago.
Yeah, last night.
Last night. I wonder. I mean, probably because of the back-to-back nationally televised game tonight. Gonna want to beat Denver there. On the other side, Joker's in a great spot if he plays, right? He was on pace for like 90 fantasy points, and that might even be low his last game before he got hurt before halftime. Would be in a great spot, man, going up against Powell. I don't know the answer to this. Is Boban someone that they would put on Joker to slow him down for 4 minutes a half?
I
could see
doubt
that.
it.
I could see that.
I mean, Boban's just big.
National televised game. Come on, you got to get Boban out there.
I mean, I think no, I don't know, man. I think the reason this is so hard is because literally nobody can stop Jokic. He's just too dynamic. He's too big. He's too skilled. That's why he's the MVP, right? But yeah, it's just it's tough to maneuver around that. I just don't think you can defend him. And like you mentioned, he had 41 DraftKings points with like 3 or 4 minutes left in the half last game.
Yeah.
He's just so good.
Yeah, he's so good. If he's out, then you can look at I guess you can look at MPJ, even though he's been really bad. Aaron Gordon, right? Aaron Gordon, yeah, you'd want to look at him. Will Barton, unfortunately, Will Barton would be fine too. People don't like to play Will Barton; he'd be fine too, and then Morris. So if Joker's out, that's going to affect everyone on his team. Clearly, we don't have the news on that yet, so I don't know. Why even break it down? They all get better. But if Joker's in, he's going to soak up so much of that usage and be in such a good spot that it takes away a lot from those other guys. So I think everyone knows that. What if he's out? Would you go to like Jeff Green or JaMychal Green? Either of those? They're both super cheap, and I mean it's not like you're swapping one for one there, but they're going to pick up some extra minutes, I would think.
Yeah, I could see it. They would definitely have to get some more minutes, I would assume. But I think still like the best plays from this team would be like Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon probably, which kills me to say. But I mean, Aaron Gordon, a lot of people don't remember this, but like Aaron Gordon last year when Markelle Fultz was hurt and they didn't have Cole Anthony healthy yet, and Michael Carter Williams was on and off. Aaron Gordon was playing point guard and playing as a facilitator for Orlando, and he was amazing. He was very good last year. The reason why he just hasn't been very good for Denver is because he's just overshadowed by everyone. He's just not. He doesn't have that role. He's a 3-and-D type guy now in Denver. If Jokic is out, maybe he gets a night to shine a little bit more. It's not great. Like he's very inconsistent, but last year he was around a point per minute throughout the course of the year. So I think that's fine. And he's only 5K on both sites. So I think Gordon would probably be my favorite one. Yep. If Jokic were to sit, I think he's actually fine now. But if Jokic were to sit, I would like him a pretty good amount.
I'm trying to see if we can get some updates. We can't. Oh, Javi was texting me about Jimmy Butler if I still liked him. And I didn't answer because I'm on the show, but I looked in Discord and that's how he got me. That's how you do it. You need to answer some questions. Get in Discord. Someone's asking us to talk about Bruce Brown. I guess they missed the beginning of the show. Look, it's okay, Chalk. am lower than everyone else. I'll play like 20% of them. I'm not playing 50% of them. I don't like him in the starting lineup. I like him coming off the bench. That's just me. But it seems like I'm different on some players today, like Bruce Brown. He's fine. I'm going to have some Bruce Brown and Zubac. And then some of the other FTN guys like him a lot. So it's a tough call. Bruce Brown, 10-second take. You want to fill this guy in?
I think if you want him as a value play, it's fine, but he's going to be popular. So I would recommend knowing that and being a little bit unique throughout the rest of your lineup.
All right, we got one more game to talk about. Then we'll take some questions. I have to edit some lineups. We've got Cleveland, LeBron's old team, coming to LA to potentially play LeBron. Maybe not. We'll have to see. We don't know if he's ruled in or ruled out yet. If he's out, same guys are getting the bump. Anthony Davis is going to be a great play. Russell Westbrook still going to be a great play. Like him, I don't think he's going to go OKC nuts, but he's still going to do fine. He's been fine. People get on his case so bad. He's a good basketball player. I know, like, he doesn't win a lot of games or whatever. He's on the damn Wizards, and then he had James Harden and Kevin Durant leave him. Like, what do you want him to do? Now he's on the Lakers. Might win a championship. Will he be good then? We'll see. We'll see what people say. All right, let's see if LeBron's in. Would you play LeBron, and would you fade the other guys? What do you think about the Lakers?
If LeBron is in, probably fading all three of them, but they all make sense for tournaments. But my thing is like, okay, if I'm going to be up here in this range, I think that there's guys like Luka and Jokic and Paul George even that I like. So I'd probably rather go to those guys who are like the clear-cut number ones on their team. For these three guys, they all have ceilings, right? It's just going to be tougher to determine who's going to have that ceiling game while you don't have that issue with those other guys. So, yeah, I probably won't have a whole lot of interest in the Lakers. Cleveland's been playing pretty slow, and their defense was actually pretty good last year. So I expect them to be a fine defensive team. So probably don't have a ton of interest unless LeBron sits.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. They have been just terrible against point guards this year. Just terrible. Guards, more the point guard, but just terrible. They are the worst team in the league against point guards, with Russell Westbrook turning it over a ton, then also not playing defense. LeBron's been out a couple games. That helps a little bit. But before that, they were getting torched by every point guard. Now, every point guard that came in that they were playing is a very good point guard. They had to play Chris Paul. They had to play they played SGA, they played Steph Curry. Everyone that they played has been a good point guard. Now they're going to be seeing the Cavs, who are not bad point. Darius Garland's not a bad point guard. He's not as good as Chris Paul is. Maybe one day, I don't know, doubt it. And then Colin Sexton, who's getting a lot of minutes, especially with Okoro out. So I like the Cleveland guards here. I like Garland and I like Sexton. I don't know what kind of ownership they're getting. I like him more if LeBron James is ruled out. Okay. I'm not going overboard with them. There's no way I'm playing them over like a De'Aaron Fox or somebody like that. But I think they're both in good spots. Colin Sexton, I think, is $100 cheaper than Garland. He's going to get 5 or 6 more minutes. I probably go there. But Darius Garland, too, I do not think is a bad play tonight. So I like the Cleveland guards. That's where I'm going to be. If I make 5 teams, I'm making 6 teams actually, and I'll probably put them in like 2. So any love on the Cleveland side?
Man, I was hoping you would go one more name on those Cleveland guards, Ricky Rubio. I like Ricky Rubio tonight. Yeah, I know.
I didn't even think about Rubio. Tell me why you like Rubio.
Yeah, so I have him for about 27 and a half minutes, which he played 27 and a half last game, played 25 the game before that, played 35 the game before that, but I believe Garland was out that game, 28 in the second game of the year, 25 in the first game of the year. So he's been about 25, 28 minutes per game. That's kind of the range, right? The really interesting part is the usage. Last game, 28%. The game before that, 25, 24 in the game without Garland, which is actually, I'll get to that point in a little bit, 29 in the second game, 22% in the first game. His usage with this second unit has just been massive. Continues to be pretty much the focal point throughout the offense, whether it be assisting or getting shots up. So I really like Ricky Rubio running the offense here in that second unit. He's had 10 or more shots in every game so far this season, in the regular season. 10, 12, 15, 10, 13. And he's had 8 or more assists in every game but 1 so far this year. So, I mean, his usage in this second unit has just been fantastic. and he's that pivot off of Reggie Jackson, almost the same price. Reggie Jackson will be popular. Ricky Rubio has about 5% projected ownership on FanDuel, 2% on DraftKings. I like Ricky Rubio a good amount.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, good point. Good point with him.
Did I sell you?
I don't think so. I don't think you sold me. Maybe you sold some other people. I'd rather have I'd rather have the other two guys. Personally,
yeah, that's fair.
All right, we skipped over Jalen Brunson. Apparently, I don't hate him.
I like Brunson. Yeah, I like him.
I do too. When he gets the opportunity, he usually, well, not usually, but a lot of the time he can produce. He's only 4,800. He's priced around Malik Monk, just under Gary Trent, under Chris Duarte, just above Bruce Brown. Jalen Brunson, I think he can get you 30 points.
Yep, and the minutes have been really good for him. So I like Brunson. He's always been a pretty solid per minute producer. Just the issue of getting the minutes, and they've been there for him recently.
How much Brunson is too much Brunson? If you're maxing out, because that's doing that right now.
I mean, I don't think you need to go like 50% or anything. Let me see where I have his ownership projection. Sorry, one second.
It's funny you say that because I had him at 50% right now.
I mean, if you want it, so on DraftKings, like I have him at about 25%. So if you wanted to just double the field, that's about 50. But I think like if you want to be aggressive on it, I think you can go 35, 40.
I don't think he's going to drop 40 points. He's 5,000. He might get to like 34, 35 though. I mean, that'd be a great night for him.
Yeah.
You could do it. Hey, national televised Brunson game. Would you play him with Luka?
Yeah, I think that's fine. It's just after that, probably not playing many other Mavericks. So yeah, I do prefer Brunson if I'm not playing Luka, but then if I do play both of them, which I do think is fine because Brunson's cheap enough, I'm probably not playing any other Maverick.
Someone's asking Dame, Bruce Brown, and Holmes, or CJ, Brunson, and Jarrett Allen. I think you can probably do better than those combos, personally. But Dame, Bruce Brown, Holmes, or CJ, Brunson, Jarrett Allen. No interest in Allen tonight. Not much interest in Holmes. Not a ton of interest in Dame. I don't like either of them. Do you like either of them?
If this is DraftKings, I would actually prefer. Obviously, this isn't answering the question, but I would prefer to go CJ, Holmes, and then whatever upgrade over Bruce Brown you can get there. But if I had to pick between those two, I would side with the CJ McCollum side. Okay.
I probably do too. So that'd be CJ, Brunson, Allen. Sorry, I just kind of roasted your lineups there. That means they'll probably hit. Duarte or McConnell?
I prefer Duarte.
You prefer Duarte?
McConnell? I think so. Well, if McConnell starts, then I think then they're pretty similar. And I do think now that with LeVert out and Brogdon out, I think we see a big time boost for Duarte. I think Duarte is going to play like. I think they're going to max him out on his minutes, which I think is very interesting.
That is interesting. The guy I just made fun of the teams he sent me just said I have a nice hat, so now I feel bad. Said that before. All right, I am going to edit a couple of my lineups here. Let's see who the highest percentage of guys I have. If you want to pull up Discord, Kyle, and see if there's anything in there.
Yeah. Yep. T Panthers mentioned Ricky Rubio, 1.65x on SuperDraft. I do like that. I like that a pretty good amount. Let's see here. Do we like Bruce Brown or Wanamaker more? If Wanamaker's coming off the bench, I prefer Bruce Brown. But if Wanamaker starts, actually, I don't know. I'm thinking about saying Bruce. I'm thinking about saying Brad Wanamaker just for the sake of being contrarian. But in more optimal settings, like when you're trying to build for the best possible lineup without having to take on a ton of risk, I think Brown's the safer option. But I think Wanamaker does have some tournament appeal. Another guy that we didn't really touch on that kind of gets somewhat of a boost here is Jeremy Lamb. I think he picks up a few extra minutes with no LeVert and no Brogdon, and he is a guy that you don't have to tell him to shoot. He'll do that, and he'll say thank you for letting me shoot. So so Jeremy Lamb loves to get shots up, so I don't mind him. Sub 4K on both sides.
Okay. Now one guy told me that he liked my hat. Now everyone else is telling me it sucks and go Astros and some other things. So.
Wow, we have people saying go Astros. I think they're just mad at you for roasting that guy's lineup because nobody likes to cheer for the Astros except for Toucan.
Who's going to win the World Series, Kyle? You're a big baseball guy.
That's a good question. I'm not gonna lie. It does feel like the Astros bats are just like in that kind of groove right now. But I want the Braves to win.
Yeah, that's that old recency bias.
That's true. That's true.
The game, it's going to rain during the game tonight. That's unfortunate. I need to know if the Joker's going to play. That's what I need to know.
Joker?
Yeah, Joker.
Yeah, that would be nice to know.
And LeBron. I guess we will just have to do some stuff with the lineups at the end. The trash cans will win. Well, that's like you insult them, but then say they're going to win the World Series. I don't like how that. I don't like that. I don't like how that came out.
You ain't cheating. You ain't trying.
You ain't cheating. You ain't trying. The Astros do try. Jose Altuve has the second most home runs in postseason history. Anyways, let's get back to.
No, I thought he tied it. I thought he tied it last night.
Oh, tied for first?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he tied it.
Oh, I thought he got into second with it. I could be wrong. Any Gary Trenton love tonight? I like the minutes, but I'm not like on it or anything.
I don't mind him on DraftKings. He's gonna shoot a lot, and he has that 3-point bonus advantage, so I don't hate him. I think he's like 5K flat, so I don't hate it over there.
I think you should play a Indiana Pacer in every lineup. I don't think that's a bad way to go. You're either going to get, someone's going to, one of those guards is exceeding value against Brooklyn, whether it's off the bench, if it's a blowout, like someone's still getting in there.
Yeah, I think that. I think one of these cheap guards, I think you can definitely say, even if you want to loop in Lamb and Wanamaker into that, like not necessarily even Wanamaker. I think Wanamaker is more of like a maybe type, like it's just like an idea. Like if McConnell doesn't get there, then I think Wanamaker could. But even if you loop Lamb into that discussion, then you Duarte and McConnell, even Justin Holiday, like a lot of cheap guards. I agree with you. I think at least one of them gets there.
Favorite play of the night? Who's your favorite play?
Jonas Valanciunas.
Love it. De'Aaron Fox breaks the slate. Gonna have a ton of De'Aaron Fox tonight at 8% ownership. I'm about to make it 9 on DraftKings because I'm close to going all in. I probably shouldn't do that. I probably shouldn't recommend that, but I'm just telling you, I love this guy tonight. All right, let's see. Popping back into the FTN Discord. Lamb or Bullock on FanDuel? Jeez. I can just put my Venmo up there and you can send me the cash if you want. You're choosing Lamb or Bullock. I would do, I guess, Lamb. I'm not playing Bullock.
I would prefer Lamb as well.
Okay. McConnell truly might play 35 minutes. Yeah, he could. Yeah, I like him a lot. Bruce Brown taunting you. Yeah. Let's see. Let's check the news one more time. Any Barnes? You playing Barnes tonight? You talked about him a little bit earlier in the show.
Scotty Barnes?
I think that's got to be who he's referring to, right?
It could be Harrison Barnes.
Oh yeah. Do you like either Barnes then?
No, I probably won't get to either of them a whole lot.
Tight. All right, so TJ McConnell, I'm getting a lot of him. I'm getting a lot of Devontae Graham, which the price is right. It makes sense. High-paced game. I don't hate it. I'm going to probably bump that down to no more than 50%. I'm getting a lot of Nicholas Batum, getting a lot of Maxi Kleber. I'm getting too much Miles Turner. I don't want that much Miles Turner. I'm going to bump Miles Turner down. Who are your highest owned guys you got tonight, Kyle? You got anyone you want to spit out there? I don't know if you're doing MME stuff like me, but
not doing MME tonight. Been on back-to-back shows, so not doing MME. But Valanciunas is in both of my main lineups right now on both sites. SuperDraft and FanDuel, that is. I should probably clarify. I'm playing some SuperDraft tonight. But Valanciunas, I'm going to have a pretty good amount of Ricky Rubio. I think he's an interesting tournament play. Not like I should probably preface that by saying I'm not going to have like 50% Ricky Rubio or anything. But I do like Ricky Rubio, but overall, TJ McConnell, I'll have a pretty good amount of Duarte as well, and then Valanciunas. Those would probably be some of my top owned players.
What about Miles Turner, 5,400. I'm getting too much of him. He's a foul machine. He has trouble keeping time on the court. I don't like him, but he's cheap and he's in a decent spot, especially if it can stay. I mean, it's a good spot. It's a good spot. It's going up against Brooklyn, but Sabonis. You like Miles Turner? I'm getting a lot of him. I don't want a lot of him.
Yeah, I don't hate it. He does project pretty well for me. It just kind of comes down to which Pacers you want to roster and how many of them. A lot of them do look pretty good, though.
I think I should bump down my De'Aaron Fox exposure from 100 to like 80.
Probably.
Okay.
I mean, if you play him at 80% at an 80% clip and he goes off, you're smashing the field, right? But what's the difference between like if you play him at 50% compared to 80%? Do you think like if you play him at 50, you'll have less of a chance to take down the contest than 80%?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think it's about a 30% different chance.
But, okay, you know what I mean though, based on because he's only going to be 8%. So like if you're thinking of like,
I know what you're saying. It's a good point. I mean, you make sense. You're making sense,
especially from 100 to 80. Like you can just leave those 20% of lineups and maybe get a little bit different, just to hedge a little bit.
How many points you got Chris Duarte for tonight?
Let me check. I'll tell you what the projections have him. 14. Sorry, real points or fantasy points?
Fantasy points.
Okay. 14 real points, about 30 FanDuel points.
Okay.
And I have McConnell for 31. So they're pretty close.
You know what? They were asking about Gary Trent. He's only $5,000. I mean, what, you could get a 6X out of him? Jalen Brunson or Gary Trent?
Jalen Brunson. But Trent will be less popular, so if that's what you want to go for.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson's in a good spot, man. Malik Monk, I don't think I'm going to be on him tonight. Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown is going to score like 20 points tonight. Fantasy point. I think he's a bust. Just going to say it. I have 25% of him, though. He's cheap. You know what? Should I do more? Match the field on Bruce Brown, perhaps? All right. Can you talk about Bruce Brown? Man, we've been doing that a lot. I have Fox locked and loaded. Good. Congrats on the money. Batum. Yep, I like Batum. Back in Portland. No problem there. McConnell talk. Gary Trent Jr. talk. It's not the worst play. All right. Check the news one more time. Everyone's getting nice and settled in.
I don't think we got any Jokic news. The last bit of news we got was LeVert being rolled out. So we're getting they're holding out on us.
All right. Well, I'm going to take a couple more questions, then we're going to end it. So Batum, Brunson, or Duarte, Maxi Kleber? That's a good question. Batum, Brunson, Duarte, Maxi Kleber. I will say Batum scores more than Maxi, and Brunson scores more than Duarte. So I'll go Batum, Brunson.
I like the other one.
Okay.
I like Duarte and Maxi.
All right.
Sorry, Easy B.
Yeah,
we tried.
I assume the one he typed first is the one he likes more. That's usually how it goes. So Batum, Brunson. It seems like me and Easy B are on the same page. Do we like Barnes, Fox, Graham plus 310s? Oh, that's for T-Nib. All right, cool. That's it. We've got 13 minutes. We're going to wrap the show. Everyone's got their lineup set. Wait for the news. Wait for the LeBron news. Wait for the Joker news. That's going to be huge, obviously. God, that's going to really change some lineups towards the end. If you pivot at the end of the night, you might make some money. So good luck, everyone. Appreciate you watching. Go check out FTN Bets. I posted one bet tonight that I like a lot. 2 units on it. The guy's name rhymes with socks. Bet you can guess who that is. You got to pay. You got to pay to see it. But bet the over on everything, De'Aaron Fox. Check out Kyle's Opto show. He does it, every weekday, right?
It's supposed to be every weekday. I've had to take some days off with the move, but yeah, typically Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Cool. And if you are not signed up for NFL, if you're not signed up for NBA, I know this is on YouTube right now. Use promo code Sicko, 20% off when you sign up. Kyle, what's your promo code?
Gamer.
Kmer.
Yep.
All right. So
not as cool as yours.
If you have a better, you gotta work on it, man. You gotta come up with some. You gotta come up with something. No, Kmer is good. Kmer is good. But yeah. Thanks for watching. Use promo code Sicko or Kmer to get 20% off when you sign up for the other packages. Good luck tonight. See you later. Bye-bye.